Dribbling Around episode 31, a little bit of festive spirit. Happy holidays to everybody. Coming up, what we got on episode 31 are takeaways from the opening night of the NBA, nights 1 and 2. We got award picks, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, you name it. Then, of course, Dribbling Around picks. I wonder who's still in the lead. Guess you'll have to find out. Coming up next here on Dribbling Around.
No, stop. He sells on the Pacers that he's talked hype about all season and then buys the 76ers that we have trashed all season.
They got the generation of chatter on Twitter everywhere, and I'm pissed I'm giving it to them, but damn it needs to be talked about.
Starting to become big-time free agents, granted, but in their childhoods, in the early 2000s, were the Knicks ever good? No.
Welcome back to episode 31. We finally have NBA basketball to talk about. Dane's doing something in the top left corner. I don't know, but I'm just going to keep going with the intro. We saw on opening night, the Nets thrashed the Warriors and the Clippers, played a spoiler role, ruined that ring celebration, but then we got everyone else back in action except for Houston and OKC the night before. Also, happy holidays. Merry Christmas. We might be dropping this on the 25th. So if we do, that's just a little extra gift, right, guys?
Yes, it's beautiful just to have
the season
basketball.
of giving.
And you know, NBA is trying to make Christmas their holiday, like how the NFL has made Thanksgiving definitely their holiday. So it's nice to see all those games. Open up your gifts, and then you get to watch some NBA basketball while you're having your breakfast / lunch at 12 o'clock. So a little weird, but you know, it is what it is. Especially for all the people on the West Coast, I can only imagine how that must feel.
Now, here's a question before we get into things. If you could have one jersey, and this is completely unplanned, for Christmas, one jersey out of any NBA jersey for Christmas.
Of all time, or?
All time. Could be retired, anything.
Oh, jeez. I want a weird one.
Yeah, I mean, I have one in mind that you're just going to want to punch me through the camera for it.
Go ahead.
Lou Dort.
A Lou Dort jersey?
Lou Dort, yeah. Lou Dort ASU.
You're like, ASU.
ASU.
ASU,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I'm going to go with Josh Longstaff high school jersey. I think that one would be a top level one to grab.
You know, I was going to say
Portland, Maine.
You guys really creative with yours, and I was going to be really generic. Now I have to think of something better.
He's just going to get the city version of the LeBron That's what he's gonna get.
Yeah, I want the LeBron with the jersey or with the title patch on here. That they won't think of something better than that.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of the New York Knicks city one, man. Usually they do a good job. A couple years back, I did the fireman one. I thought that was okay, and then I think this year, I think there's supposed to be some collaboration with Kith or something like that. I think they dropped the ball on it. There's a couple of them that they dropped the ball on around the league.
Yeah, here's my Christmas present. Liam Spellman, shout out. I want one of your jerseys, okay?
I want one of his rings.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Hey, he's got, what does he have? 4?
He can spare some.
Yeah.
He can spare
one for us.
He's a
He
legend.
doesn't need all of them. Share. It's time to share.
Sharing
Come back on the show. No, we'll wager it. Like that 3-on-3 game, it'll be for a ring.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But what if we lose? What do we give him?
Nothing. He's a college basketball player.
I'm not
He shouldn't
saying that
be
we're not the
doing anything
underdog.
beating us.
Our
You know?
pride and dignity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the fact that like Jayden talked all this trash and then they beat us like 20.
I never said that we're not the underdog. We definitely are. It's just
Okay.
What would be the line for that game?
Minus 16.5. at
No,
least.
minus 11.5. I think could be fair.
We would not score 5 points, bro.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah,
tough.
bro, we definitely.
Half court, especially not.
I think we would, man. You're really dragging it. Like it's not like
It's
gonna
gonna
be
have to be like we have to catch him sleeping. It's gonna be all.
Yeah,
food.
we have to go off to a hot start. I'm telling you.
We have to have a hot game.
Bro, we lose. And if we have a hot game, we'd probably still lose like 21-7.
No,
Yeah.
we have, and if we win, we can't have a rematch. Like that's it.
Yeah, we're
It's a
walking
big
out.
deal.
But enough of this recreational Division III basketball talk. We've got professional basketball talk to get to. And but we also have some award predictions. We didn't get those off before the season started, but I think we're all just going to go on our system and have our picks before we watch the first game of basketball of the season. So, but before we dive into that, just a couple takeaways from the games. Not too many because we want to spend most of our time in the award picks, but if you had to say 2 takeaways each from the games, yes, last night and opening night, what were some of them? It can be anything. Dane, I will go to you first.
One from the East, one from the West. New Orleans is going to be a playoff team. And I said this last time. I watched their defense, and I get it's game one. It's the Raptors. They were a good team too, and I get they're not playing in Toronto, no fans, things like that. Stan Van Gundy is incorporating a culture. Don't say coactus. You're going to make me laugh. But he's incorporating a culture that you can get young players to play defense. And you saw if he got a shooter like Redick coming off the bench with a veteran like Bledsoe. I just like the combination of that team. Again, not going to focus too much on this. The East, I think this is yours, Connor. Brooklyn's the best team in the East. That's mine. Connor, I talked to you a little bit about it, the sort of their bench mob that they have, LeVert off the bench, and I might mention him a little bit later, hint, hint. But to go along, KD and Kyrie look fresh. They're scoring the rock, and you have that offensive creativity. They're long, they're deep, and there's holes with Boston and Milwaukee, although they're really good. They look like a bulldozer.
Yeah, just to recap, Dane's talking about the Nets being long and deep, and then the Celtics having holes. So, Jayden, what's your 2 takeaways?
The Brooklyn Nets are a team that I have to give credit for because a lot of people, including myself, didn't realize I just didn't give them credit for how deep that they were going to be. You look at that team and you really thought you obviously look at it, you think the top heaviness of it. You look at Kevin Durant, you look at Kyrie Irving, who I've talked annals about. I've talked about how much I dislike Kyrie Irving, about what he does to a team, but never denied his talent, and he proves it on the court that he's able to play ball really no matter who he's with, but he needs to continue to win games. That he did that thing with he's burning sage in the TD Garden, and I had a question about that.
American?
What happened?
I thought he's Native American, and it was like that's like
I think so. I know that tradition.
Like, I thought I saw somewhere like it was actually like a culture thing, not so much like a player being weird. You know what I'm saying?
I know that.
Like it was just it wasn't just weird
burning
Kyrie,
of the stage.
It was like it actually had.
That's what it looked like, the burning of the sage, and that's how some people interpret it. And with how I've described Kyrie and how I've had my opinions on Kyrie, how I think he just needs to take a long look at himself. But at the end of the day, he gets paid millions of dollars to play basketball, and he's playing basketball at a high level. And the Nets are going to be a dominant team in the East. And in the West, you don't look past the Clippers, man. I still put them at that top echelon level. I know that obviously the Lakers are not going to look how they look now when it comes to the end of the season. It's going to look like a completely different team. But at the same time, this Clippers team is tailor-made to beat the Lakers. I really, truly think that. I think this Clippers team, if they met in the playoffs, the Clippers and the Lakers definitely could have brought this one to 7. But they never had the chance to. They got knocked out early. The question I don't think the question is, can they beat the Lakers? They definitely could in a 7-game series. It's definitely possible. The question is, can they beat other teams in a 7-game series? Because they're not tailor-made to beat teams like the Nuggets. They're not tailor-made to beat other teams in the West that can pose them issues. But against the Lakers, I think they'll definitely be able to put up a fight. And that's really an odd thing to say, right? Oh, you can beat the best team in the West, but you can't beat some of these other teams in the West that you would consider lesser on paper. So it's odd, but it's sort of how it's looking and rolling out for the Clippers.
I don't want to dwell on this because I have 2 different points, and it's like we already talked about Brooklyn, so I'm just going to add a little bit extra onto that. But am I crazy to think like Paul George is like kind of like the most important player in the NBA just based on the fact that like his success like pushes the Clippers to NBA contenders? Like they could beat the Lakers, Bucks, Nets, anyone. But if he has an off game, they could lose to, say, the Kings.
Yes. Listen, I said this to you, Connor. I think that's a good point. Maybe not the most important player, but one of.
Yeah.
The Clippers, and this is no this hurts me to say this because we haven't seen because it's a new Lakers team, so I can't really.
And also, it was just one game. Like this
maybe
most
not
of
the
these are just
important-
overreactions.
Maybe not the most important player, but maybe the most important two on a team. The most important second-hand man, because Kawhi is obviously the main guy
Yeah.
there.
I haven't seen this Lakers team, but like really fully together because they have a lot of new pieces: Schroeder, Harrell, Gasol, whatever. The Clippers, maybe the Nets, but the Clippers, when they play at their highest level, are a top 2 team in the NBA. When they play at their highest level, that's a big if because Jayden, you talked about it. They choked against the Nuggets, but when they're locking down on defense, they arguably have the best team defense in the NBA.
And they're going to lock down against the Lakers because it's the Battle of Los Angeles. There's no better time to come up and fight against any other team. You're literally going against a team that's on your quote-unquote home court. You know, that's how they view it. Lakers fan obviously look at it differently. Oh, this is my court. This is my court. Obviously, Staples Center has been run by the Lakers for quite some time, but this is a new generation when it comes to the Clippers, and we could really see some action there if things go their way. And if COVID didn't happen, we could be having a different story as well with this whole NBA bubble situation not happening at all and just being a regular playoff. So
Yeah,
I'm also scared. I'm definitely gonna flip flop on the Clippers because like I was heavy. Like
I'm out of the top 10. It's not a flip flop. That's like a
it's like gonna be a big
back
flip flop.
flip.
I'm just worried because like I don't. The main problem with them is their consistency, right? Like some weeks they'll look like the top 2 team, other weeks they'll look like out of the top 10 team. So it's just like where are they going to be mid-season, end of the season? Like it's hard to peg them after one game. Oh, that's a big pause. But like it's just
tough day. It's Christmas time, man.
it's Christmas time.
Connor, what?
All right, let's just I just
Mine is in the gutter.
I don't want to spend too much time on the Nets though because I'm gonna say like they're the only team that I think like I'd feel confident betting them or just picking them against the Lakers right now.
One
The
more
Clippers
thing.
are close based off that one game sample, but like I just watching that second unit run the Warriors starters, like that was jaw dropping pretty much. Like and they have so many luxuries on that bench. Like they can bring Jarrett Allen, Karis LeVert, and or Spencer Dinwiddie off the bench. Those guys like are all starting on 90% of other NBA teams.
Yes. It doesn't surprise me though, because that same bench unit that was their starting.
They took them to the playoffs last year.
Yes, they took them to the playoffs, but that same bench unit almost knocked Portland out of the playoffs in the last regular season game of the bubble, if you remember, and gave Phoenix that slot to play Memphis in the play-in game. They almost beat a really hot Dame Lillard. Granted, Portland couldn't play that defense. That doesn't shock me too much, and that's why I said the Warriors. I get the Nets are really good, but I have them out for a reason because
Andrew Wiggins was terrible.
Yes, they need
and
that.
I think Draymond Green, if he plays, maybe they lose by like 15, but because Wiggins could not guard KD at all.
Yeah.
I have more faith in Draymond holding up against KD. But no, my last takeaway is that I don't think my son's pick is bold at all. Like everyone,
I think at 5 it's still bold.
Everyone's just
but
looking at, okay, where were they last year? Yeah, but everyone forgets last year they didn't have Aiden for a good chunk of that regular season. They get Aiden back. They get that entire team back in the bubble. They go 8-0. They run the table. Yeah. Monty Williams looks legit, and then they add CP3 while just minusing Kelly Oubre pretty much.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility, but there's other teams I would give the higher odds to put there.
Honestly, I think they might be number 3 now. Like if I'm one to overreact fully after one game, it goes Lakers, Clippers, Suns.
That's
my overreacting.
We've seen Connor overreact before, putting the Trailblazers to beat the Lakers in the playoffs. You know, these are overreactions. I mean, it's not like these are not commonplace. I have one more thing to say, and it's about the Bucks. I gotta bring it up. Giannis misses that free throw. Listen, it's a free throw. It's a free throw, and you know you can look past it. It's overtime, but I'm just hoping this isn't metaphoric. I'm just hoping that this isn't the start of a story that doesn't go the way that Bucks fans hope, the way that Giannis fans hope, the way that NBA fans hope, for the sake of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Because if this is the start of something metaphoric, and I don't want to blow anything out of proportion, because listen, you miss a shot, so it happens. But when you get paid that money, largest contract in NBA history, you get to have that conversation. At least you have to. It's not like we're talking about some guy that just went to the free throw line. You're talking about the highest paid man ever to ever step on an NBA court, at least through contract. And that really does, it makes you think just a bit. I hope it's not metaphoric.
Jayden, I understand what you're saying, and I completely understand. But just for the sake of things, I think you should stay away from the Bucks for another.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. I hope it's not metaphoric, because if we go from Bucks and four to Giannis misses a clutch free throw to start the season, that's how you start off on that note. Not what you want to see.
Giannis won MVP and Defensive Player of the Year last year. I think he's one of the very few players to do that. Yeah. And like we said,
his expectations are through the roof.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
I'd be surprised if anyone has him repeating in either awards. I'm not going to lie.
I don't know. Speaking of that, though, we got to get into it. Let's see if we actually have him being a 3-time straight MVP. Connor, we're going to start with you. Which award do you want to start with? We can start small with.
I say we build up to MVP. So like rookie, like let's start with rookie and most improved and 6 man.
Okay. So you want to start with rookie of the year?
I'll start with rookie, and this is pretty much going to be a 2-horse race, I think, across the board, but I have James Wiseman. I think he is going, like, he's just that situation perfect. He's already starting. And also, like, whenever everyone was watching that game, like, it even caught the announcers by surprise in garbage time, like, because I remember the color guy was just telling some story, and it was like all of a sudden James Wiseman's popping threes. It's like, kind of looked over at no one sitting next to me on the couch, but still said to myself, like, does Wiseman have range? Like, no one knew about that during the scouting process. We were like, oh, he has limited offensive game that he still has to develop. And next thing we know, he's popping threes and long mid-range twos. So and he had a much better debut than LaMelo, so that bodes well for him too. I just think that he is probably further along now that people realize, and I see mid-season, there's no reason for him to not be probably a top 10 center in the league. At minimum.
Okay. Jayden, I feel like you agree because
of course I agree. I've been saying this since last season that the Warriors are gonna get this guy. He's gonna be a complete difference maker on this team because they're finally gonna get that big that they need, that interior presence. And now not only is it interior presence, he can shoot, which matches well with that Warriors team. So are you kidding me? You're putting him into that offense? Oh my God. I'm not saying, no, it's day one. And LaMelo Ball looks great, especially in the preseason. He looked phenomenal the way he was able to pass the ball. But I think Wiseman is in a way better position to win that award, at least how it stands right now.
Just for the continuity factor, I think I'm going to say Wiseman's going to get second. I very well could see him winning. Anthony Edwards also had a good debut, but I'm not going to go with him. This is probably my biggest surprise pick, like I said, kind of for not continuity. Patrick Williams with the Chicago Bulls. Listen, he's one of those rookies, unlike Denny or a Halliburton. He's going to be able to get those starter big time minutes down the stretch because the Bulls aren't necessarily that good of a team. So Patrick Williams is going to get opportunities, whereas Halliburton or someone like that, you got De'Aaron and Buddy ahead of you. Denny, you got Brad and Russ with the ball late in the game. I think you got Zach LaVine and Kobe White, but I liked his debut. I like what he does on defense. And I get the comparisons to Kawhi. I'm not saying he's going to beat Kawhi, but he has all those physical tools, and he's really impressed me early. He's really impressed me, and I think he's one of those sleeper picks that could probably go in for Rookie of the Year. I'm sure Matt Sossler likes this right here for the Chicago Bulls. But again, with Wiseman, I loved what he did. I love what he did. And I could very well see him winning Rookie of the Year, and I don't think there's an argument. I'm not going to argue against that by any means.
I have a really dark horse Rookie of the Year that, like, I have no way, like, picking or betting on. Isaac Okoro.
It can happen because his defense.
I think he's in that same situation where he's gonna get starter minutes. He's gonna be that team's number 1 defender. And
the offensive points has to come though, because
he's been slashing pretty well. It's like
it just needs to be there at the same, if not close to everybody else.
If he can average, say, like 12 points a game and is like doing really well defensively, I see no reason as to why he's not top 3 in that voting. I'm very dark horse because he still has to leapfrog Cedi Osman in the rotation, which I don't think should be that much of a problem. But I mean, let's move on. So we've got Wiseman, and Williams.
Can we
let's
pause
go to
pause. I gotta get my brother real quick. Hold on.
All right. Dane, you're definitely clipping that part where we were talking about the Nets and the Celtics.
Should I actually?
Yeah, like keep it. Like that's what I'm like
Oh, no,
Instagram.
post it.
Yeah, post it. Like that could be like the last slide in the post.
Okay.
And then I paused myself.
Yeah.
All right.
I really hit myself with a pause right there. But no, we're definitely posting that clip with the deep, long, and holes. So
All right. Ready?
yeah. All right, so now that we have our rookie of the year picks in the books, let's switch over to most improved player. And I feel like this is always the award pick that is the biggest crapshoot, just because it's literally the most likely to go to someone no one expects, right?
Yes and no, because I think I have one that we've been talking about for a little bit.
Oh, so we all have the same one, don't we?
Do we?
No, we don't. I think
Actually, no, I was thinking 6-man of the year. We probably all have the same 6-man, but
no, we don't.
well, Jayden, who do you have it for most improved?
Most improved, I have DeAndre Ayton. I think
Okay.
we've been talking about him for a while, only because when Paul found his way to the Suns, we were saying, oh, who's the one that's really going to benefit the most out of this? And we didn't say Devin Booker. We said DeAndre Ayton. We said the big is really going to benefit the most, especially coming off a year where he was injured, came back in the bubble, showed a little bit of what he can do. Now, if he can do that for a full season, especially now with Chris Paul, that is some stuff that you could see for most improved. You know, gets his points up, gets his rebounds numbers up, and the ball keeps on getting fed to him down low. There's no reason why not, especially you're coming off of nothing last year. You know, you're coming off from not nothing, but that baseline of an injury, not really expected to do much, and now you're really being pushed to the star. You know, it's tough. The only thing pushing me against that is that he was of high, wasn't the number 1 overall draft pick?
Yeah, number 1 overall.
So it's tough to give him most improved. At the same time, you know, there was a few years back where you thought, hey, Curry could win most improved because he's playing that good, you know. So I wouldn't put that past him. So yeah, my pick is Ayton.
Connor, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I was thinking about Aiden, and I was also thinking about Zion, but I was kind of like, okay, do I want to give most improved to the number 1 overall pick? And I just trended away from that. But no, I'm gonna have some homerism here. I have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and it's just because I'm expecting him to average 20. I'm expecting him to, or 20 plus. I'm expecting him to lead that Thunder team, and I'm no way, shape, or form expecting them to be good. They're probably going to be 15th in the West. But if you look at that roster, you're counting on guys like Dort and Baisley to really step up, but not necessarily become stars. You're looking at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to become a star. Like he's the only cornerstone they have on that team right now. So and again, I mentioned Ayton a ton whenever I was talking about Phoenix. The only reason I'm not going here is because he's the number 1 overall pick. Everyone's expecting him to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think Shai, correct me if I'm wrong, I honestly feel like he's the odds-on favorite for most.
I think it's Ayton then Shai.
Okay.
I can look it up real quick, but Dane, who do you have?
3 guys that I really thought of. Third, this is not my pick. I had Colin Sexton as a potential one. Second, I had RJ Barrett. I think he's going to get significantly better, but I think he's going to have enough bad games and not get enough wins for people to consider him. This guy was a high pick, the guy that I have, and it's a little biased of what I saw last night, Ja. I think this guy is going to be an all-star. I think
Give us somebody.
I think he's going to be an all-star. I think he's going to vault himself into a top 10, top 8 point guard in the league this year as long as he stays healthy. He has the ability to average probably 23, 24 this year. And with his speed, he literally looks like, and I hate these comparisons because they're their own player. He looks like a young John Wall. And if he continues to develop his shot, he's just going to become more lethal. Like you can't teach the speed that Ja Morant has. That's why I have him.
It's a good pick. Same point that I made to about Curry. He's like, oh, he's playing so well. Even after like an MVP season, that he's playing so much better than he did that year before, that he could win most improved, stuff like that. Like it's sort of that same type of scenario because Ja played really, really well last season. So for him to get even better from that is
Ja wasn't an all-star. Ja wasn't even an all-star.
I mean, he still won. Like he was the very clear winner of Rookie of the Year. Like I don't think the voting was close.
So
it's just he's going to have to go. I think he's going to have to do way more than Shai or Ayton would have to do, just because
he's really going to have to fight because we're talking.
And I'm not ruling that out either.
Yeah, Ayton's coming from barely anything last season except the bubble to hopefully a good season now with Chris Paul. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is getting a lot more minutes and a lot. I wouldn't say more minutes, but he's getting a lot more offensive presence, obviously, since who's there in Oakland, Oklahoma City, right? And then you look at Ja Morant. He's still in that same role, and now he's gonna have to improve on that. It's gonna be tough, possible, but tough.
Okay. What do we want to move on to? I mean, I don't think in that one might be a little bit more of a stretch. And again, I'm trying to think a little outside the box and go away from some of the odds-on favorites. But Connor, what do we want to head to? 6-man coach?
I'm fine going to 6, man.
Okay. I'll start. This was tough. I thought if JJ Redick's coming off the bench, watch him be a threat for the award. I don't have him. It could very well be Montrezl Harrell again. I didn't go with him because he might be a double-double machine. Karis LeVert, I mentioned it, hint, with the Brooklyn Nets. If he stays on that second unit, he was just a straight-up bucket getter. Again, he was in that starting unit last year in the bubble and for the most of the season for the Brooklyn Nets. And he has the ability, if he's the lead guy, to go out and average, 20 a night, 22 a night if he's the lead guy. And he's the lead guy in that second unit. The ability for the Nets to say, hey, leave it to the second unit, they're going to still go out and give us an offensive outburst. And even when the nights when KD and Kyrie are off, let alone when they're on, they can trust a guy like Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert to do that. The only way I see LeVert not winning it is if Dinwiddie starts to produce more. But that definitely could happen. Another dark horse I had, Utah Jazz. They're my sleeper baby. As I mentioned before, Jordan Clarkson, absolute microwave off the bench. But I have LeVert. Just a little bit of a hunch there.
I'm just going to follow up because I have the same pick. I have Karis LeVert. I have the receipts too. I said this like days ago.
Okay.
Because I remember I was talking with one of my friends who, Rob Perez, he wrote about how he thought Jordan Clarkson would end up winning most improved, or not most improved, 6th man of the year. My argument against Clarkson is just that I think it's going to go to like one of the top teams in either conference. And I just see the Jazz hovering around average to like bubble. Whereas the Nets, they're going to be the clear-cut favorites to like one of the clear-cut favorites to win the East. Like they're going to contend for the title. The Jazz are a big question mark. And as long as LeVert stays on the bench, like that, him running that second unit is a luxury no one else in the NBA has. Like not even the Lakers with Schroeder, because they started Schroeder.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Harrell was coming off the bench, but still, like Karis LeVert is probably a better player than Dennis Schroeder. So
Caruso running the second unit for the Lakers.
Yeah, he didn't start. I was a little upset at that, but no, it's just I feel like either LeVert or Dinwiddie, as long as one of them stays in that role of being the head man on that second unit, they'll win it. I think that's the easy favorite. And the shocking thing is that I'm looking at OddsShark right now. Karis LeVert isn't even on this page. Like Spencer Dinwiddie has plus 1,000, but LeVert isn't even on this page.
I'm going Dinwiddie only because I feel like I could see in that point guard role, in a role where you're really able to facilitate an offense. It can go to either of them. That Nets team is so deep. You can even see another guy on that Nets team get 6th man of the year just because they start producing. It's so deep that I really should have recognized that a lot sooner. That with the Nets team it played pretty well towards the back end of the bubble and towards playoff time before, but it's tough to say. Only because with that Nets team, it is deep that it could really either of them take the reins of it. And you look around the league, the league is so top heavy as well. Usually 6-man goes to those staple guys that find their way on the bench. You got the Lou Will and stuff like that. And so 6-man is a tough one to really decipher. But I feel like somebody in the Nets is going to be able to grab it.
Didn't Lou Will win like 3 in a row? And
For
all we know, he could win it again. You never know. I mean, that guy just comes off the bench and just,
if you come off the bench and you're good,
he's just battling with Serge now for like 6-man on the Lakers. So
Serge started, didn't he? Or the Clippers
started? I don't know. I can't remember. I mean, I'm just looking at the odds. Like Serge is listed on here as a potential 6-man winner of the year award winner. But I mean, moving on, since we all have Nets, and even then, like I don't have really a dark horse for this pick. It's just tough to.
It is a tough one. I wouldn't bet on it.
No, I wouldn't either.
Anyone sitting at home looking to bet, I wouldn't bet on it.
So let's just transition over to Coach of the Year. We'll take a quick break from players, and I'm just gonna start out with this one because I have the Suns are my sleeper. And I think the Suns will finish closer to the top of the East than the Wizards will in the top of the. I said that backwards, but I have Monty Williams. He's the second leading favorite behind Steve Nash right now. I think the Suns are going to be a top 4 team in the West.
Okay, whoa. You said last time I
had him at 5. I move him up one spot.
These Chiefs consistently have been moving them up slowly but surely, trying to find. Listen, I do like Monty Williams as a pick. I want to make him my pick, but it's also tough for me to also consistently say that as well, given that I'm going to lead them at the playoffs at 9. If they make it in at 8, then yeah, there's a good shot he probably wins that award. Maybe even making it at 7. Obviously, if they go all the way up to where you're staying, 3 or 4, it's a shoe-in, right? But but this award is meant for a coach that takes a team that you have question marks about and they push to the future, or they're just hands down the easily just best coach team in the league, which was Nick Nurse last season. So one team that we could also talk about like this could be the Warriors and Steve Kerr. I know that might be a weird one to say, given that this team, with now the players returning and now they're going to be able to make a push back, and no Klay Thompson. They drafted well, getting Wiseman. If they make a push towards the top of the West, then I think you also have that same conversation. Let's say they really start to make a push. Obviously, don't look like it as it stands right now, but if things change, it could go the way of Kerr. I'm going to go Williams just to be safe with the Suns, but it doesn't really coincide with what I was thinking earlier.
So both of you had Monty Williams.
Yeah,
but I'm not happy with it.
Okay.
I am. I'm ecstatic about it.
I have.
I do like him though. Nothing against him.
Listen, I wanted to go with Quinn Snyder, my sleeper baby, but I can't. Just because I think the West is too tough and too deep, and they would have to be really, really overachieved. So, if I had to have a second sleeper baby, my closet team, you play good defense, you're underrated in the East, first-year head coach, Raptors mentality for the Indiana Pacers, Nate Bjorkgren. It's just I just
had a dog fight with the Knicks yesterday. It was like that.
No, not a dog fight. They won by like 20 or something.
Yeah, because the Knicks blew it at the end.
Yeah, it's the Knicks. They were in it for way too long.
Yeah, the Knicks were in it for way too long.
Okay, again, don't overreact here, but I think the month is going to get significantly better. Oladipo looks a little bit healthier. Malcolm Brogdon, I don't want to say he's like underrated or overrated, but when it comes to like a steady point guard in the NBA that's going to get you some points, that doesn't need to be the 1, 2, or 3. He could be a 3 maybe on a championship team if you have a really good 1 and 2. You like Malcolm Brogdon at that point guard spot. And they have a nice bench unit too. Doug McDermott can come off the bench. I think they have both Holiday brothers to go along with it. TJ McConnell brings a burst of energy, although he's a little disadvantaged because of his size. But I think that defense is going to be good. And listen, I thought the Pacers were okay last night. I don't think you're going to have RJ Barrett go off for 26 and be like 8 for 8 to start the game and be scorching. If it weren't for that, I don't think the Knicks would have even been close. So I don't think you should overreact to that. But I can see the Pacers, by saying this, I think the Pacers will be top 5 in the East.
I'm not sure about the Pacers.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Why? What
because you're saying they have to be better than Philly and Washington and Toronto.
I think they will be better than Washington and Toronto.
And Philly?
I think Philly will have their road problems again.
I don't know. I mean, if I'm going to throw a dark horse out there, it's got to be Scott Brooks or Van Gundy.
But what about I haven't talked about the Nuggets.
Mike Malone?
Yeah, Mike Malone.
I mean, I would say, other than Monty Williams.
I think so. I've seen Jamal Murray as like a trendy pick, and Michael Porter Jr. too for like most improved player, and it's like Malone too. But the thing is that they kind of already started their breakouts in the bubble, so I think they're at a disadvantage.
It's too late now.
Yeah, well, no, I'm just saying like they already they gave everyone a taste of what to expect. I don't think either of them can keep that for a full season. Which is why I think they're at a disadvantage for voting.
Although the Nuggets lost to the Kings in overtime,
that was a bad tip.
What an ending.
Who got that? Someone had a block, like De'Aaron Fox, I think.
No, you mean on Barnes' dunk for the Kings?
Well, no, De'Aaron Fox blocked, and then it went the other way. Barnes missed a dunk, and then Hield got the tip in.
Yeah. So, but what was I going to say? Although the Nuggets lost, MPJ looked great. Again, this kid coming out of high school was supposed to be dynamite, and then he had the whole back thing. Played one game. It happened to be in the NCAA tournament for Missouri. Nuggets took a chance, and again, if this kid can stay healthy, he's got a great NBA body to go along with a sweet shooting stroke. So
I'm like at 14 in the first round, was projected to go early, like super early. No one took him. So big steal.
Red flags, and you can see why, but you can also see the potential there too. What else we got? Two more. DPOY and MVP.
DPOY MVP. Who wants to start with DPOY?
I'll go Anthony Davis. There's no real reason why not. I think I said the same thing last year. With Defensive Player of the Year, it's really whoever's the dominant force on defense. And you really don't you could find that at the guard position, true, but it's a lot easier to find that in the interior, especially when it's a strong, big body. And Davis is one of those guys. I think he's also a big, flashy name that a lot of people like. Also a guy that I know we're talking about Defensive Player of the Year, but produces on both sides of the ball at an efficient rate. It's not like he's just exerting all his energy on defense and can't really produce on off. He's an everyman. So I give him a ton of credit in the world. Anthony Davis, no reason why he shouldn't win Defensive Player of the Year. And if it's not him, it's going to be another guy, another strong interior presence throughout the league.
Connor, you want to go?
I kind of don't feel good about this pick, but Ben Simmons.
Dang it! Are you kidding me? Did you actually go with Ben Simmons?
Yeah, no, I just lied on air, Dane.
Oh, okay. Oh, I just looked like a girl when I did that. But yeah.
Dang it! Oh,
Dang it! No,
I thought I was gonna be cool with that pick, but no, I did go with Ben Simmons too.
no, I like Ben
I
Simmons.
come up with the safe one here. All right, I'm happy.
Well, I just before I dive into Ben Simmons, I find it kind of odd that or funny that Gobert gets the third biggest deal in NBA history and no one picks him to win Defensive Player of the Year whenever that's all he does.
I
Granted,
think a lot of us still have bad blood against Rudy Gobert, to be honest with you. I personally don't like how he plays inside and offensively. He can't catch the ball when he's past him by Donovan Mitchell.
He put up 20 last night, but it was against Portland.
Exactly. And at the same time that, yes, he's great defensively and gets paid all this money, but I still hold Anthony Davis to it.
Yeah, I like his versatility, and I just think Simmons, I think Doc Rivers, I don't want to name too many dark horses for Coach of the Year, but if I had to put Rivers in that, I would not be shocked at all if Doc Rivers wins Coach of the Year. And I wouldn't be shocked at all if Ben Simmons and Doc Rivers award winning go hand in hand. I just think Simmons, I feel like some of those offensive warts, some of those offensive inefficiencies, they're going to start to fade away this year. So Simmons won't be in such a negative light that people really appreciate more what he does defensively since they have less to harp on offensively. That's kind of the way I'm trying to think of it. Also as a skill wise and how it actually will go voting.
Yeah. And the thing is though, he's 6'9" as a point guard and can guard all five positions. He led the league in steals last year. For the time that he played. Another guy that I thought in there, Connor, I thought you said Simmons point pretty well. Miles Turner, partially. He's been in the top 5 in blocks the past couple of years. You mentioned that strong interior presence. Actually had 8 last night against the Knicks. Not that that's saying much. But, yeah, I feel like we're going to look stupid by one of us not saying Giannis or Rudy Gobert because Giannis did win it last year. And I feel like
I think Giannis has some of the pressure taken off of him defensively with Drew.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not picking guys I don't want to pick Kawhi just because I don't want to pick players that have other guys who can take the pressure off him. Granted, my dark horse is Paul George, but I mean, I'm not picking Paul George as a favorite. I'm picking Ben Simmons as a favorite because he's going to be the one picking up the top assignment.
PG's the dark horse for MVP for me.
Okay. I don't hate that pick. I mean, I figured it was coming.
Not my pick, but Connor froze.
Connor froze. That's okay.
Oh, now he's unfrozen.
Now
I realized Jane was did I what was that for? Hand on the face? Was that just
that was because we talked so bad about Paul George for so long. And,
yeah, I know. And it's
but I'm probably I don't know. We talked bad about him.
The only thing consistent about that.
Oh, Connor's really going through it today.
Yeah.
I don't think you should start a rant because you're probably just gonna freeze.
No, I was just gonna say the only consistent thing about the Clippers team is that they're inconsistent.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean that's my last point.
Didn't I
All
say
we have
that
left?
MVP.
MVP. Yeah, we have one more MVP, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to go with Luka, but I feel like
I
everyone-
don't want to go with Luca too. Like I feel guilty.
I'm not
about
going Luka at all, man. Stop.
Don't say Steph. You're
No,
gonna say
no,
Steph.
I'm not going Steph
Oh.
either. There's two guys that I have in mind. It's not going to be Giannis.
Can I guess?
I'm not saying it's not going to be Giannis because of it. 2 years. Wait, he won it 2 years in a row, right? I just want to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know.
So I think what kind of so like a week or two back, voter fatigue. I think this is a perfect time for either Kevin Durant or LeBron James to win the MVP award, just because one, LeBron James has honestly deserves it for the past few years, given his talent throughout the league, and no matter what, he's always going to will a team to victory, to a finals, to something, right? Except the first year with the Lakers, right? Given that whole debacle, and you look at Kevin Durant, a lot of people forget Kevin Durant's probably one of the best basketball players in the world. Like he's I had him top 5 at number 5 because he was injured last season. But I as I said during the rankings, if he plays well, he's number 1. He's number 1 and number 2 with LeBron James. I'm not giving it to Luka yet. Give him one more year. That's all I gotta say. In one more year, the Mavericks aren't going to be the best team in the West. They're not going to have the best record. The Nets could very well have the best team in the West, have the best record in the East. Excuse me. The Lakers could very well have the best record, or if not, honestly, be the best team in the West. They're returning champions. So talk about the best team, best player, plus best players on the best teams. That's who's going to win the MVP award. Kevin Durant can be that guy. There's no reason why. And people forget it's Kevin Durant.
Yeah. So KD's your pick, not LeBron.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Kevin Durant, but LeBron is very, very close. But it's the same type of idea where it's this recency bias, and just people forgetting.
Yeah, I actually love that point. Like you actually kind of opened up my eyes a little bit there with Kevin Durant because he did play so well in Game 1. The reason I have against LeBron, rest. I don't think.
Yeah, and that could be it too, 100%. You know, it's a regular season award, and if Kevin Durant plays and he's playing time to not only rest but recover, and if he can play at a high level, there's no reason why not.
I actually see that for why LeBron doesn't get it, not KD, because LeBron just came off one hell of a stretch, busting his ass for so long.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, LeBron, he's not going to play as much this season.
Yeah. I didn't want to go with Luka. I'm not going to go with Giannis.
Listen, if you go with Luka, there's nothing wrong with that. There's definitely because he has the potential, and all of us have said, you know, like he's on the pathway to being the best player in the league. You know, there's no question about it. He's on his way. But give me one more year. Give me one more year, Luka. He's playing so good. Just give me one more year, and this year he could do it. But I think Kevin Durant's going to get it this year.
I might be silly for this pick. Another dark horse, I think maybe give him a couple of years if his team gets better. Trae Young without
it.
years.
Are you saying that for this year or for your dark horse?
Later. I hate this pick. Jokic.
Just don't say nothing stupid. What'd you say?
Jokic. I think this man has the ability to possibly average a triple-double.
If he
Okay, I don't want to hear
triple-double,
anyone praise about that whenever that's like been almost the main thing against Russ for the last 3 years.
I'm not saying I said the man has the ability. I don't think he's going to do it.
it's more impressive if is it more impressive if a point guard does it or if a center does it?
A center, because
Probably, yeah, definitely a center for the assist.
because for the assist, because in the NBA, how many people actually box out point guard can just go up, grab rebounds, and say bye, right?
Okay, so because all right, so we're valuing the assist over the rebounds. Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I think the only reason why Jokic might not win it is because Jamal just takes a few points away from him. But I think Jokic has the ability, and I think he's going to this year, to average like 25, 12, and 9. Like he's
That is literally like but let's 25, 12, and 9. But let's say he goes 19, 12, 19, 12, and 12. Do you still give it to him then? The guy that averages under 20 points a game?
But 12 and 12, like, oh.
But you
The
got averaging under 20 points
the
a
Nuggets
game?
would have to be a top.
Oh, dang
Oh,
it.
Connor's really going off the
Connor's really.
Oh my God.
They might have to be a top 3 team in the West, but I don't want to get into this argument. I know you said best player in the best team, and it's turned into that award.
Yeah.
Like, valuable. I'm not going to start getting into that.
Valuable. I don't know.
What he does for their team.
We're just lucky that this award isn't a point guard only award, isn't a center only award, you know?
Like the NFL
Yeah.
with quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's like where the
Yeah.
MVP is pretty much just it's a quarterback. So honestly, I think it's fair that it's the best player on the best team, because if we're talking just the regular season, the goal is to get wins, and the reason why you got a lot of these wins is because of this best player. So I think that's fair. I think it's fair. There's other players around the league, and you talk about the word valuable, like if you take Curry off of the Warriors, they're a terrible team, but and their team will flounder, obviously, like we saw last year. But does that make him the most valuable player in the league from the award standpoint? It might make him an extremely valuable player by the term of the word, but not by the award.
Connor, did you pick Trey?
I didn't. I wanted to make him my dark horse. I just the team has to make the playoffs, and I don't think they're there yet. I was thinking about it, and then you said it. So I am going to just because I've been saying it for a while, I'm going to stick with Luka. But
That's
and
fair.
I've already said all my points. I think the Mavs will still be a top 5 team in the West. I have 2 dark horses that kind of piss me off because Dane's gonna love them: Donovan Mitchell and Jason Tatum. And it all depends, as long as the Celtics need a top 3 record in the East, and the Jazz need a home court advantage first round of the playoffs.
I love that.
It's dark horse. Mitchell is definitely more of a swing than Tatum, and I wanted to go LeBron here, but Jayden, you reminded me of the point, they're going to be resting a lot. I just think that itself is going to take him out of contention, deservingly so or not. That's how it's going to happen. Same thing with AD, probably
LeBron,
a good chunk of that stuff. And the reason I didn't want to go KD is just because there's going to be some nights where.
No, you're good. You're still back.
Let me know when I'm back.
You're back. You're back.
I'm back.
Yes, you've been back.
Oh, my screen froze. Did I just stop talking and you see me just stare there?
Yes, just keep going.
My screen for all right. Well, yeah. The reason I didn't go with Kyrie or KD is because Kyrie could very easily just be the offensive alpha dog some nights, and it's just those roles kind of seem interchangeable to me. Either guy could be that lead dog, so that's why I don't want to say KD's MVP. I do like the
KD was able
getting
to do
tired.
it. KD was able to do it with the Warriors offense. Did he win the MVP in the Warriors?
No,
offense?
he won Finals MVP, but
he won MVP award with
it was
arguably a tougher fight, which is Westbrook, right?
He was with the Warriors for 3.
Yeah, and it went Russ, Harden, Giannis.
Yes. What I'm saying is when Durant won it, he was with Westbrook,
Yes.
with the Thunder, and that's
Right.
arguably a harder thing to do.
Yeah,
Get him
I
to
see
the
your
level.
point. I also think that the Nets team is deeper than what that OKC team was.
And you have to also ask, well, Katie, also rest wise, come off an Achilles injury, and you might want to just take it a little bit easier, on him, especially if your team is that deep and you're winning games.
The hard thing about picking this is not just okay, you have to find a player who's going to do extraordinarily well. They have to separate themselves from the rest of their team. So that's why LeBron, how much better is he going to be than AD on a consistent basis? And that's not even a slight towards AD or LeBron, because I had both as top 5 players. It's just they almost cancel each other out. They didn't last year, which was a testament to how good LeBron was. But LeBron's not playing.
They're not playing the same role.
Yeah, they're not playing the same role, which is also how that helps.
Well, if you're having that fight between 2 wing guys and say who deserves the MVP on the same team, then that really cancels them out and then brings somebody else up. So let's say you have 2 3-and-D guys saying oh, maybe this guy can win MVP, this guy can win MVP. But if you're talking about LeBron and AD, it's sort of a different. Yeah, I see your point, but it's not like they're both in the same position or same echelon of roles on that team.
If you're listening to this and you think we're completely whack, again, we tried to not be. We tried to be a little bit outside the box with these picks and think a little hard, not just go with the favorites. You got to be creative, draw some interest into the show.
You got to create content.
And if we're talking favorites here, you're going Luka hands down. You're going, you're talking about what other picks you're talking about? Your rookie of the year, you're going
Wiseman,
Waller or Wiseman there, and for defensive player,
Monty Williams.
You're going with their favorites, but we're giving you options, especially if you're going out there putting your bets now.
To be fair, I was saying Luka before he became the favorite. I was saying it even back in the bubble. So it's that's kind of I don't feel
when has
terrible.
Luka not been the favorite? He's been the favorite since he entered the league, saying, "Oh, in 2 years ago."
No, he wasn't the favorite.
Yes, he has.
No,
People
he
been
wasn't.
saying- people
I
has
don't
been
think
saying
people expected it this early.
ever since Luka got
People didn't expect it this early. I
ever since
guarantee you
Luka
that.
made his mark on that Mavericks team in his first year. People were like, this guy could be something in MVP candidate.
Yeah, they were all saying that, but no
Yeah.
one expected it to become a reality this soon.
Yes, people were saying.
That's the thing. Like, that's the difference. Like, everyone did expect Luka to win MVPs. No one expected him to be in contention in year 3.
I agree with
I
Connor
think people were.
because like everyone was first there with the draft questions. Then he turned out to be amazing in year 1. But what are we talking about?
People were like, you know what? This guy could be the guy. And then
Year 3 though. People thought year 5, year 6. Like I agree with Connor in that sense. Like
I think people were saying year 3. I really do. Because people were saying he got to the league and he's like, oh, he's like a 10-year vet. People were looking at
But
him.
there's a difference between saying and believing that.
All right.
You know?
I guess.
Like, people were probably saying, like, yeah, Zion will win MVP like 3 years into the league. I'm not expecting him
No,
to be
people
a
were.
top
I don't think
player.
people were saying that.
Everyone's expecting
People were saying that about Luka after he started to play. People were saying that about Zion in high school. Oh, he's an MVP. He's gonna be
Yeah.
the greatest guy in the history of the sport.
Yeah, I mean,
so high on Zion when he went to Duke and then he like watched him play. I'm like, oh my God, he's just a man.
He blew out his sneaker. That was-
yeah,
Oh,
they
that
didn't change their sneaker deal either.
Speaking of that, I was like, it was our senior year of high school. I think I was the most excited for a non-Syracuse basketball game ever in my life. Duke UNC was in.
Was
Duke.
that high school?
It was our senior year of high school, and Zion was a freshman at Duke, and they were both top 10 teams. Luke May for UNC, Kobe White, Nasir Little for those boys, and then Zion, RJ, Cam Reddish at Cameron Indoor. Obama's there. You got all the
Was there?
all the spots,
Everybody was there.
and Zion blows out his shoe, and UNC wins. Like, it just took the air out of everything that was hyped up for the game to be.
Yeah.
Now they did play each other once more in Chapel Hill and then in the ACC tournament, which was cool, but it just wasn't the same. Like that was just the biggest letdown I've had as
what one thing I hate as well is the camera angle at Duke. It's so bad.
What do you mean?
It's like
Yeah,
all the way.
so
it's two up.
terrible. It's
Yeah,
like,
the
isn't that like the worst thing ever?
It's
it
like
looks-
nosebleeds.
yeah, like I don't want to watch from there.
It's very small. That's on my bucket list to go to a Duke UNC game at Cameron, just because the experience, it's kind of small. It's compact. The fans obviously are right on you, especially if you're in the media. You see how many pictures of media members, and they have pictures of themselves with the fans reaching out over their heads, which is pretty cool. But yeah, in terms of that venue, it might be a little tough for media, but it's kind of the overall experience. You can't replicate the Cameron Crazies. You
Yeah.
can't, and as much as it's like Duke, it's pretty
Let
tough.
me tell y'all, man. One day you guys gotta come down here by me and go watch some high school basketball games over here, especially when there's some players that have their offers already from like by these Power 5 schools, like by some top schools, like from Blue Bloods, and they play these games against each other. I tell you, there's nothing like it. Nothing like it. It really is insane. Like watching Kofi Coburn going against Cole Anthony, watching Isaiah Washington go up against Jose Alvarado, who's in Georgia Tech. Like some of these at high school level, these gyms get packed. And then he's sitting on the windows on top of the gym. That was.
Isaiah Washington go to Minnesota.
He went to Minnesota and now he's at Iona. That's what I
Ooh,
know.
Rick Pitino.
Yeah, and he's Mr.
Almost
Mr. Jelly. He
a guest
invented the jelly.
on dribbling around.
That's the OG jelly fan, Isaiah Washington. And oh my God, we can get into a whole conversation about how I personally believe that Isaiah Washington and Steph Curry both hold the same amount of influence in street basketball. I really do. I genuinely believe that.
Well, I feel like street
jelly and because he started the whole jelly movement, and that was so big for kids that obviously can't dunk. Like kids like my brother's height, he's like 5'6", but you see him, he'll do the little jelly. You're like, oh, shit, that's awesome. You know?
Can you do a jelly, Jayden?
Of course I can. I grew up on the jelly, man. Go playing ball every day at the school, behind the school, everyone bowling out. Then you jelly, a little bit of the flick of the wrist. Oh,
I can't jelly. I'll just throw like a floater 20 feet up in the air.
and then you put the
Like
hand.
I can hit those for no reason. Not like it's about like 50-50, but Yeah, so watch this transition. So we have picks to go over now. So we have 19 on the Google slide. Big day.
Who's sharing the screen here? Dane also needs to fill in some picks here, bud.
Yeah, Dane, you got like what? 4? Yeah, you got 4 missing.
Okay, let me see.
And all 4 of those you can either choose to make it unanimous with me and Jayden or go against us.
Yeah, that's why I kind of waited. But can you see my screen?
Yep.
Look at the screen.
Okay, so first game up, Christmas Day game. Surprisingly, the Big Ten had to do this because of some rescheduling. Wisconsin and Michigan State. I haven't made the pick for this one. I think Wisco's loss to Marquette was a little uncharacteristic of them. But tell me why you went with MSU. Connor, was it because of the coin?
Well, no, I retired the coin for this week. It did me dirty last week.
Yeah,
I am going MSU based off the fact that Ethan Birch likes Wisconsin.
Okay, yes, it did do you dirty last week. Let's take a look.
Yeah, but you also didn't take advantage of it. I'm not dead at all.
What do you mean? I got 4 games on you.
Yeah, so I only missed 4.
Yeah,
Like
but
I'm only down like 5 or 4 on you. Like
But-
from that week.
all right, you're down. I don't know how much. Wait, how much overall are you down by?
It's 17, 10, 14.
7.
And this week is a big week because we have 19 games this week, and
I'm pretty sure right now I have 7 picks different than you, at least.
Yeah, this is gonna be a character defining week for sure for a lot of people.
Wisconsin just does a lot of things well. Michigan State looked awful. They just lost to Northwestern. Good for Chris Collins' team. Not a lot of people expected them to be near the basement of the Big Ten, which means you think Michigan State would bounce back. But I love what Micah Potter does. I think he'll give guys like Aaron Henry and Gabe Brown some problems. Give me the Badgers.
All right, that's fair.
All right.
That's
Pick
fair.
the Celtics in this one.
You want the Celtics?
No, you pick the Celtics.
No, I don't want to. I like what I saw from the Nets. Kyrie's back in Boston. I get there's no fans. I feel like this is a game where Kyrie drops 40 and the Nets win. Am I wrong?
I mean, I'm picking the Nets too, so sure.
And it's a Christmas game, so we'll see
Yeah.
what happens there. Nets, Celtics, we all go Nets. Mavericks, Lakers, we all go Lakers. Also Christmas Day. Clippers.
Wait, what are the early Christmas? Oh, we're not doing the Heat Pelicans game.
We're not doing the Heat Pelicans season. Clippers Nuggets Friday at 10:30 p.m. So this is finally one of the late ones. Dane goes the Nuggets here. Why Dane? Why?
Just because, listen, it's in their heads, man. Jokic, this is where I have like one fantasy basketball league and Jokic is on my team, and I just love him. And they're gonna be pissed. They just lost in overtime, and this is one of those games where you think the Clippers are on a roll. Clippers are on a roll, and then PG just drops like a
It's
brick.
one game, Dane.
I don't think. Yeah, I think
they played one game.
we're talking about a series here. I don't know, but we're talking one game.
I will say, if the Clippers start out their season with Paul George playing really well against the Lakers, then the Nuggets, and winning both, Paul George might be off the stink list.
The regular season. Guess they got the stink list because of the playoffs.
That's just gonna be hanging over him. But I'll be nice and like that'll be my Christmas gift if he plays well.
Gonzaga, Virginia, Saturday 4:00. Everyone has Gonzaga. Obviously, that's honest. There's no other. Virginia's really bad. I don't know how they even.
Their defense is always going to be elite because the Tony.
Yeah, very fair, but 50 points is not enough for me. I will say that. Rockets, Trailblazers, Saturday at 10:30. Connor has the Rockets here, but I think you said earlier to us before the show started, this is all hinging on the team actually playing, the Rockets having their full squad together. Is that correct?
Yeah, I put an asterisk next to this just because obviously their game last night against OKC got postponed. As long as they have a full team, I will take Houston. And I'm very scared that going into the season, I kind of mixed up Utah and Portland, that I probably should have flip-flopped them. But so that's why I have Houston over Portland right here. But that's what I'm going with.
I had Utah pretty high. I think I had them at 5, and I had the Blazers pretty low. So I'm pretty happy with that. Mavericks and Clippers. Dane doesn't have a pick, but me and Connor both have the Clippers. And Dane also goes with the Clippers. So full sweep there. Celtics, Pacers. Dane goes with the Pacers here. And me and Connor both go with the Celtics. If we look a little bit lower, on Tuesday, they play again against each other in the same type of situation. And then, so Dane has them both. Pacers winning both times. Connor has the Celtics winning both games, and I have the Pacers winning the second game. So odd for everyone.
Hey, man,
I think we're all putting scenarios in our mind, and we all think it's going different ways.
I think the Pacers, their bigs are way better than Boston's bigs. No.
Yeah, no duh.
Yeah, duh.
The Celtics started Daniel Tyson, Tristan Thompson. The year is 2020.
Yes.
Farland.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I think.
You think that's going to lead them to win both
You
games?
think that's a bigger advantage than Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? Not to mention Kemba if he does play. Even then, Marcus Smart.
I think they're at home. I think
Smart will probably guard and lock down for the most part. Brogdon. TJ Warren didn't do anything last night.
Listen,
So you're meaning to tell me that and also you can't change your pick. I'm just trash talking you now because I know it's locked in.
Yeah.
But you mean to tell me that Sabonis and Turner are leading the Pacers back-to-back wins over Tatum and Brown and the Celtics?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jazz Thunder. We all have the Jazz. Remember, we're going for the first 2 at least weeks of the NBA season, and next week we'll start getting into the new playoff teams. We're going off of the old ones just to have some continuity here. There's a lot of shuffling, especially early on in the beginning. The Kings are a playoff team right now, but they're not. Rockets, Nuggets, we all go Nuggets. Trailblazers, Lakers, Dane going with his Lakers. So we all go Lakers there. We already talked about the Celtics and Pacers. Raptors and 76ers. We all have the 76ers here. A little surprised by that we all.
I'm surprised by you.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by myself, but 76ers are at home, and we're going to see how continuity that a little later. Bucks Heat. Dane has the Heat here, especially after this is a little surprising after they lost. Not lose, but the Bucks lost their first game, but it was in overtime. The Heat lost to the Magic. So, got any words there or what?
I don't know. I just kind of wanted to flip flop you.
Okay.
Jane's also exercising some demons with this game.
You went.
I need
Bucks,
to.
You went Bucks Heat, so I went Heat Bucks.
Yes.
Bucks.
I went in a different order there. So all right, that's fair. Magic Thunder. Me and Connor are going the Magic. Is Dane going the Magic as well? Who's
Connor, is there any reason why OKC?
Oh my gosh, I did this last week.
I'm not giving you any advice.
This just seems like a game.
The Magic Heat was one of the few games I watched in full last night.
I just don't know. I mean, not that Steven Adams was good in the playoffs, but no one's stopping Vooch. I gotta go Orlando.
Going the Magic there, so it's a full sweep. Bucks Heat again. Same once again back to back. These are sort of weird. They're sort of like baseball in a way where you play the same team twice. That.
I was we had 2 Pacers Celtics, then 2 Bucks Heat. I just kept Bucks and Celtics as my pick because I feel like if a team is good enough to beat one once, then why not twice?
Yeah, that's a good especially since we're doing picks, you're hopefully guaranteed to get at least one. For me, because I did a split, I could still split, but let's say the Heat win the first one, the Bucks win the second one. Now I'm screwed. That's not a right. Now I'm going off of narratives here. Tennessee, number 8 Tennessee is 15 Missouri. I think these are the correct rankings right now as they stand. Danko Missouri here. I think Tennessee blows them out the water. I really do.
Watch, dude. Okay.
I really do, man.
I had wrong last week was Kansas and West Virginia, and I think that's because West Virginia is starting to develop some bad road problems, and Kansas played their best game of the year. The thing is, Mizzou's at home. They're clearly a tournament team. They've already beaten a good Illinois team. I get Illinois lost to Rutgers. That whole Big Ten's a gauntlet. Tennessee really haven't played anybody that good yet. These two right now are the class of the SEC, and this is the pick that I am most confident about gaining a game against you guys. If I'm wrong, so be it.
Okay.
But I know, I'm confident because I feel like I know a little bit more about college than the two of you, and I could be wrong.
I'm flipping a coin to make my picks. Your
fault, Mr. 1-7 or whatever.
Wow.
So,
yeah, and I'm down 7 week 4. Let's wait till the season actually gets going.
okay. Hey, remember, we both lost.
Caboose, Mr. Caboose in the bubble.
Listen, remember, we both lost to Jayden last year. So.
Oh, I made it close though. I made him sweat.
Maybe sweat. And I feel like this year in my picks, it's going to take a little bit for me to start up again, but
yeah,
we're on the right path. Definitely on the right track.
It's tough because we've seen every team only play one game. Haven't even seen OKC yet. And now we have 19 games to pick this week.
When we get into mid-season form, it's going to be There's gonna be a lot of swinging, I believe. Trailblazers, Clippers. Connor has the Blazers here. Me and Dane have the Clippers. Is this a hiccup in the road for the Clippers, or is the Blazers? Do you think the Blazers are just a better team?
I kind of feel like the Blazers, like, they might start off slow because Monday they have LA. They're going to have to win one of these games, and I feel like they're just kind of going to punch the Clippers in the mouth. Like, I don't feel great about this game, but Portland has to have a statement win early on with how tough their schedule is. And I'm just going to pick the Clippers as it.
76ers, Magic, Thursday at 6:30. Connor has the 76ers. I have the Magic. Dane has his mouse hovered over the box. What's it going to be?
I have contrasting things for both, and there's no fans. So, like, I want to go with Orlando because the 76ers on the road.
Orlando has fans, by the way.
They do.
They do.
That matters. Who cheers for the Magic anyway?
The crowd that beat the Heat last
People
night.
that love Cole Anthony for whatever reason.
They do love Cole Anthony. I can attest.
Is that why
to
you're going with the Magic because of Cole Anthony, Jayden?
No, I don't like Cole Anthony.
That's why that'd be
But
why you
I'm
picked
going
the
the
Sixers,
Magic
not the
because they
Magic.
beat. I'm going the Magic. They beat the Heat. The Sixers are on the road. There's just a bunch of parallels lining up. I feel like that's the underdog story there.
Yes.
And
Give me the Sixers.
Dane
I'm very glad I'm alone in that pick.
Embiid will I think Embiid will win that battle, but they'll cancel each other out enough. And I like Terrence Ross off the bench to give them a little bit of a punch. Why don't you like Cole Anthony?
Very long story. So it just he was a rival star for my high school, and I just
It's a pride thing.
Never gelled.
Okay. I mean,
I don't know. There's something in my mind.
Thanks. Again, I don't think we've said this. Our last post, so much. Thank you for the support.
Yes.
Around 80 likes or something like that.
Love that.
So, I mean, check us out on YouTube too.
We have great fans. Dribbling
Yeah.
around fans are the best fans.
Also, make sure to go check out the rest of the cafeteria commentary. You're looking at us. Go help them out too.
Mhm.
It's Christmas. It's time to help everyone. It's time to give. Give them a couple likes. Give them a couple follows. Make sure to give us those too. But looking out for everyone, man.
Yeah, follow us. Speaking of that, Connor, we mentioned probably it'll be a bit, probably in the next year, but Christmas is a time of giving. So maybe around the spring, tune in, dribbling around, might be trying to start a few giveaways and things like that of some cool.
Jane's learning of this for the first time.
Giveaways guy. He's like, oh, all right, okay. I go along with the ride.
There will be some things you have to do in order to be.
There are rules, but
They're
they're
all-
not bad.
They're not bad.
They're not bad. It's for a prize. It's for a prize. It's a good prize.
Follow us.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, someone do the outro.
Jayden, do the outro. You look happy.
All right. So that was a great episode. I think we got through it. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. This is the time of year coming towards the end of 2020. We're going into the new year, 2021. 2021 is going to be big for not only us, but hopefully for everybody. As an ambulance still passes by my house. The ambulances have been passing by my house since March, so that's usually how it goes. But hey, keep your head up going into the new year, and stay with us with the dribbling around. It's gonna be a fun time. You'll follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube, drop a like, comment, let us know what you want to hear. And if you're interested on coming on, we're always available, especially now this time of year, before the semester starts. I'm set to go back late January. I don't know about Connor, but it's going to be
Same time frame, like 20th-ish.
Very good. So, going to be a good time. Stay with us. Peace out. Dribbling around.